Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're plunging headfirst into a story from the AI frontier.
Yeah, this one's really at the intersection of, well, everything. Tech, geopolitics, economics.
Exactly. It really unpacks the complexities. We're talking about something that isn't just a ripple. It feels more like a potential seismic shift.
Definitely could be. It involves how AI companies operate globally.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're zeroing in on Anthropic, the San Francisco AI startup.
One's behind Claude.
Yeah,
Big chatbot getting a lot of attention.
right. And they're a significant player, backed by Amazon, huge valuation. What was it, like $183 billion?
Something staggering like that, yeah.
Yeah.
A major force in the AI race.
And they've just made a move that honestly could sort of redefine the rules of engagement for advanced AI globally.
It's a pretty bold step they've taken.
So our mission today is to dive deep into these new AI access restrictions from Anthropic, figure out what they actually mean,
For the industry, for users, for everyone involved.
and explore why people are calling this a first-of-its-kind thing. A landmark decision, maybe.
Could well be. It's certainly got people talking.
Okay, so to really get the importance of this, let's paint the picture first. What was the situation before this change?
Right. So for a while, Anthropic, and they weren't alone in this, other U.S. AI firms too, they officially blocked direct access.
Blocked access to their commercial services, you mean?
Exactly. In certain countries, we're talking China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, the usual list you might expect.
And this wasn't hidden, right? They were open about it.
Yeah, they openly cited legal and security concerns. That was the stated reason. Keep the tech out of regions deemed, let's say, problematic.
To prevent misuse, basically, or access by entities they didn't want having it.
Precisely. Standard geopolitical risk management, in a way.
Okay, but here's where it gets, well, really interesting, like you said.
The loophole.
Right. Despite these blocks, there was a workaround, a pretty clever one, it seems.
People always find a way, don't they?
Apparently. So certain groups in these restricted countries, they couldn't get Claude directly from home base,
No direct line in.
but they were using international subsidiaries, setting them up or just using existing ones outside the restricted zone.
So a company based, say, in Europe, but actually owned by an entity in China.
Exactly like that. That subsidiary could access Anthropic services even if the parent company couldn't.
So effectively bypassing the geographical block. Digital backdoor, as you put it.
And it seems like it was being used. Enough for Anthropic to notice anyway. And now, bang, Anthropic is slamming that door shut hard.
Yeah, this new update is the direct response.
So the core of this new rule, it's targeting ownership structures, right? That's the key change.
That's the absolute heart of it. The policy is now super clear,
It prohibits any company, if it's majority owned,
meaning more than 50%.
Yeah.
Could be direct ownership, could be indirect.
if that ownership traces back to firms or individuals in those unsupported regions.
Then no access. Full stop.
And here's the kicker, the really crucial bit. This applies regardless of where those entities are physically located.
That's the revolutionary part.
Yeah.
It's not about the subsidiary's address in Paris or Singapore anymore.
It's about who ultimately owns you. That's a massive shift in thinking.
It really is. It moves beyond simple IP address blocking.
So the big question, why this? Why such a strict move, and why right now?
Well, what's kind of fascinating here is how direct Anthropic was about the why. Often companies are vague on policy shifts like this,
Right, lots of corporate speak usually.
but they stated it pretty plainly. This update is intended to prevent workarounds. Simple as that.
So they saw the subsidiary loophole being used and just decided to close it.
Exactly. They realized that geographical blocks weren't enough because, global finance and corporate structures are complex. Money and ownership flow across borders easily.
So this new rule, tightening the terms of service, it's a direct hit on that specific tactic.
A calculated response. They saw a vulnerability in their policy, and they moved decisively to patch it. And you mentioned earlier why this is getting so much attention. Nicholas Cook, he's a legal expert, advises on these cross-border AI issues.
Okay, yeah.
He's actually called this a first-of-its-kind move among major U.S. AI companies.
First of its kind. Wow. So nobody else, and none of the other big AI labs has drawn the line based on ownership like this before?
Not in this explicit, broad way, according to Cook. Think about it usually, tech companies want more users, wider reach.
Yeah, global expansion is usually the name of the game.
But here, Anthropic is actively restricting access in a really novel way. It's not just a minor tweak to their terms.
No, it feels much more strategic.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It signals that we're entering a new phase where AI, tech, national security, economic rivalry, they're not just tangled up, they're like fused together.
The stakes are clearly getting higher. That phrase, first of its kind, really lands. It sets a benchmark. These bold moves always have consequences, don't they? There must be a commercial impact.
Oh, absolutely.
Cutting off potentially large swaths of users, even indirectly through ownership, that has to hit the bottom line. Are they talking about the financial side?
They are, surprisingly openly. An Anthropic executive spoke to the Financial Times, actually.
What did they say?
They projected that this policy shift,
Yeah.
it could reduce revenues by low hundreds of millions of dollars.
Low hundreds of millions. That's not insignificant.
Not at all. For most companies, even well-funded startups, that's a serious figure. It shows they aren't taking this lightly.
It definitely signals they see this as more than just a revenue calculation. Wow. Okay, hundreds of millions is a lot. But listening to you, it sounds like they're doing this from a position of, well, confidence, not weakness.
That seems to be the case, yes. Despite that potential hit, the context is important.
Like all the funding they just raised, wasn't it another $13 billion or something?
Exactly. $13 billion in fresh funding. Plus, they're boasting over 300,000 business customers now.
And wasn't there something about big spending clients growing fast too?
Yeah, the number of clients paying over $100,000 a year, that apparently grew nearly sevenfold in the last year alone.
Okay, so that paints a different picture. A company with serious momentum, lots of cash in the bank.
Which gives them the flexibility, perhaps, to make these kinds of tough, strategic calls. They feel they can absorb the financial hit.
Because the principle or the strategic goal is more important right now.
It appears so. Prioritizing control and perhaps alignment with certain geopolitical considerations over maximizing immediate revenue from every possible source. And that financial cushion lets them make these moves, which if we connect it to the bigger picture, especially in a market like China.
Right, you mentioned the workarounds were common there.
Exactly, because even though officially systems like Claude or ChatGPT, they aren't available directly in mainland China.
There's still huge demand. People want access to these powerful tools.
Immense demand. So users, individuals, researchers, businesses, they find ways. VPNs are common.
Virtual private networks, yeah. Masking your location.
Right. So even as Anthropic tightens the ownership rules, that underlying desire for the tech in restricted places isn't just going to vanish. But, and this is crucial, it's not like the rest of the world is just waiting for US AI, especially China.
The domestic industry there is moving fast.
Unbelievably fast.
Good.
The momentum is undeniable. And moves like Anthropic's, you could argue, just add fuel to that fire.
Pushing them to develop their own even faster.
Precisely. I mean, look at DeepSeek based in Beijing. Earlier this year, they released a chatbot.
How does it stack up?
Reports suggest it rivals the top U.S. models in performance on many benchmarks. But here's the kicker.
There's always a kicker.
It does so at a fraction of the cost.
Okay, that's a big deal. Performance and lower cost.
That changes the competitive dynamic significantly. And it's not just startups like DeepSeek. You've got the giants, Alibaba, Baidu.
Yeah, the established tech players.
They're pouring billions into their own large-scale models, really sophisticated generative AI.
So while the U.S. is building digital walls,
China is building its own powerful alternatives, often with different economic models. So for you, the listener, this sets up this fascinating dynamic, this tension, U.S. firms drawing these increasingly sharp lines in the sand.
restricting access based on ownership now, not just location.
While Chinese competitors are not just catching up, but innovating rapidly, creating potentially cheaper, powerful alternatives, it really feels like a race.
A high-stakes technological race with huge geopolitical undercurrents. It really does sound like a global chess match, like you said. Every move potentially triggers a countermove. This isn't just about Anthropic's business strategy, is it?
No, it feels much bigger than that.
It feels like it reflects these deeper currents, geopolitics, economics, all playing out in the AI space. So what does this all mean for the global tech landscape?
Oh, you've nailed it. Anthropic's decision, it's like a snapshot of these bigger forces.
Geopolitics and economics dictating AI access.
Exactly. For these leading U.S. AI firms, they're juggling two big things. First, protecting their IP.
Their secret sauce, the models themselves. Billions invested.
Right. That's critical for their business, but also seen as critical for national competitiveness. Protecting that edge is paramount.
And the second thing,
Navigating this incredibly complex and rapidly changing regulatory environment. Governments everywhere are scrambling to figure out AI policy,
National security concerns, economic rivalry.
all feeding into it. So
Yeah.
companies like Anthropic, whether they initially intended to or not, they're now operating right on the front lines of these national and international tensions.
Yeah.
And the fact that Anthropic is willing to potentially forego hundreds of millions in revenue for this policy,
Yeah, that really underscores the stakes.
it shows just how high the stakes have become in this global race for generative AI dominance. It's not just about market share anymore.
It's about strategic positioning, maybe even technological containment.
That's certainly how some might interpret it.
Hmm.
It signals a willingness to make significant financial sacrifices for, well, for strategic protection, protecting the tech, aligning with national interests, perhaps.
Which brings us back to that first of its kind label. It raises a huge question, doesn't it?
The million-dollar question. Or maybe billion-dollar, given the stakes.
Will other American AI providers follow Anthropic's lead? Will OpenAI, Google, Meta, will they feel pressured to do the same?
That's what everyone's watching. Anthropic has set a precedent. Whether it becomes the norm or just an outlier, it remains to be seen.
But it could potentially lead to a much more fragmented global AI ecosystem, right? Different rules, different access depending on who owns you.
Very possibly. These aren't just isolated business choices anymore. They're deeply linked to this larger global competition.
Absolutely. It really is the geopolitics of AI playing out right in front of us. So let's recap quickly. We've looked at Anthropic's really groundbreaking move.
Restricting AI access based on ownership, not just location,
Right.
truly unprecedented.
We talked about the potential financial hit, hundreds of millions, but also their strong position allowing them to make that call.
And put it all in the context of this accelerating global AI race, especially with China developing powerful, cheaper alternatives.
It's a landmark action, definitely a first of its kind. And like you said, it could set a major precedent. We'll have to watch if others follow.
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Lots to think about here.
And as you think about this, maybe consider that delicate balance we've been discussing. You've got the desire for global access to powerful new tech
Butting up against national security concerns.
and this fierce competitive drive for innovation. How do you balance all that?
What does it mean for the future? Will AI development become more siloed, more nationalistic?
Or will new ways to collaborate across borders emerge despite these tensions? It's a huge question for the future of AI and indeed the future of global technology, something to keep pondering.